Hello and welcome to the Proficy 2022 portfolio update briefing. Here I'm going to go through our strategy and our roadmap. So my name is Joe Gerstel. I'm the Director of Product Management for MES, and I'll be taking you through this for all the products in the Proficy suite. Just real quick, some things we're going to talk about aren't quite finished yet. It's our intention to finish all the things that we're talking about and release them. But safe harbor disclaimer here. All right, so let's dive into a strategy overview, but let's start at the top. And let's talk about what, in general, at the high level, GE Digital is doing. So we're all about solving our customers' toughest challenges. That's really what we do. And these are the strategic initiatives that we're working on. So first thing is about really customer success enablement, right? And that's about connected workers and an enterprise-wide visibility and scalability of the software that we release, as well as a new concept called circularity. And then, of course, what GE is known for is lean. So when we get into talking about these various areas, one of the things that you'll see here is the enterprise-wide system management. So this is where we're putting all of our system configuration in one place, and we'll talk more detail about that. Some products are further along than others, but we will have a central configuration tool that allows you to do all of the configuration. In terms of production optimization, we have a new tool called Production Orchestration that I'm excited to talk to you about, and that allows you to keep your specifications across your organization in sync with what's really happening on the shop floor. We have some material optimization things happening. Those aren't quite ready yet, and we won't cover them today, but those are coming soon. And then, of course, we have the core of what we have done for years around plant operations. And that would include SCADA, MES, and Historian. And of course, analytics sits on top of that, and we'll talk about that as well. So first, I want to touch on what is this thing called Proficy 2022? Well, what we've decided to do is instead of having different names for different products, different releases, I should say, we're going to have a single overarching structure for all of the releases together. And we are continuing to invest heavily in all of the things that we are offering. And a lot of major enhancements are coming out in addition to that, new products. And so what we've decided to do is launch it as a unified portfolio. So the standard release cadence is going to be every year. This is actually our second year. This year we've changed the name so that all of the products have the same name. So Proficy Historian 2022, Proficy iFix 2022, etc. And then we will have them all release around the same time frame, which is November to January time frame. It'll depend on the product, but generally they'll release at the end of every year. This helps us do a lot of things. First of all, we can validate interoperability. We know these products are going to work together because we're on the same cadence. It's much easier for us to make sure that they all work together. It's also a way for us to do marketing at a higher level and really help customers understand the entire suite that we offer in Proficy. We do have some new things coming out that just go across the portfolio. As I mentioned earlier, is this configuration management, which again we'll talk about, but also this data flow engine that I'll touch on that's mostly going to be used initially by MES, but could definitely be used by other components in the process suite. We're also moving toward common installer. We have made some progress there, and we're continuing to make progress where we have a single installer and making it easy for you to install and upgrade. A lot of products are working on that. So success story here, we do have a customer down there in Latin America, in your area, South America, called Xylor, and they are all about sugar, ethanol, and electric power production. They have been a partner with us through Aquarius for years, and they've taken a step-by-step journey to move through the product portfolio. And the latest thing they've done is gone with our AI tool called Proficy C-Sense. And you can see the improvement that they've made over time, right? 7% performance gain in 2021 just from analytics. And that's on top of all the performance gains that they've reached from other Proficy products. It's exciting times. We know this stuff works. We know it's valuable. So another thing that I want to talk about, this is another common layer throughout Proficy. This is called Operations Hub. This tool is really all about rapid application development. It is a tool that allows you to create your own screens without writing code. And it allows you to leverage the technology that's in the Proficy suite inside of Operations Hub and use it together. So there's a lot of integration going on with Operations Hub. So first of all, Historian is fully integrated into Operations Hub and allows you to do really simply do trending and so forth. MES has introduced a new, of course, MES is launched in Operations Hub, and all the screens that you see there, our plan application screens, do work inside of Operations Hub. And then we also have a new data flow editor that we'll talk about. iFlix simplicity and the remote operator. So we're going to have native HMI builder integration into Operations Hub and remote worker access via web space. A lot of things coming in that area too. All right, so let's start going into individual products. Let's start with Proficy Analytics. Proficy Analytics is an industrial analytics software that really is all about improving both your asset and process performance. So a lot of things we've done here. One big theme that we've embraced is the cloud analytics. So the ability to offer you analytics on the cloud that are with pre-built applications that solve specific problems that manufacturers commonly run into. We also have a cloud data aggregation and reporting tool. This sits on top of our MES, as well as our time series historian data. And that offers out-of-the-box reports. There's about 40 reports that come with it. And it gives you an enterprise view of your entire plan application customer base. Then we have on-prem control loop monitoring. And this is really going back to CSense and really taking advantage of that. And it's really diving in on the problems that are directly related to control loops. And then, of course, we have embedded applications for analytics. One that we just came out with recently is called Sensor Health. So what do we talk about when we talk about analytics, and specifically about the cloud-based analytics? Well, these are pre-built applications, as I mentioned before, and they're really all about helping you solve the problems on the left-hand side. So in areas quality, production, throughput, uptime, asset life, energy, and all the other things that applications that are available to help you out of the box get going on analytics with your data. What is this aggregation tool? This is called Proficy Manufacturing Data Cloud, and this sits on top of Plan Applications database, Plan Applications data, I should say, and it aggregates all your data from all your different Plan Application sites into one place on the cloud. That makes it really easy to get to. The beautiful thing about this is it's highly scalable. You can implement 3 different versions. If you just want the basic capability of maybe archiving, you can go there, all the way up to the full capability of data and analysis inside the tool. So we've done a lot of things to increase performance and really make it easier for customers to use and faster. One of the key things about this is it puts data in a format that's much easier to perform analytics on. So that's a really exciting component of the tool, and really lets customers go much faster when they're trying to, especially across the enterprise. So now comparing one site to another becomes much, much easier. I do want to mention that we do include 40 report templates out of this, and really they're analytic templates that come with the Manufacturing Data Cloud, and allow you to quickly get into the details of your data. And finally, we do have CSense, which is our tool that we've had for quite some time, and we've been making improvements to it and adding additional capability. You'll notice this is called Proficy CSense 8.5. That's just because we missed the cutoff to call it 2022. So next year it will be called 2023. But the point is, the key things I want to talk to you about here is new capability around SCADA customers and control optimization tools. So really, again, going back to control loop tuning that we talked about, it's a really new capability that is easy to use out of the box. In addition to that, we have some new OPC UA and some additional languages. All right, so let's get into the next tool called Proficy Orchestration Hub. If you've been around GE Digital for a while, this is a new term to you. This is a new product, and it is a new product for us, and this is the first year we're coming out with it. So what is this thing? What does it solve? Well, we went out and surveyed customers. We got the voice of customers to understand what are their big problems, right? And these are the ones that we came up with. So out of sync sites, right? So the enterprise product lifecycle management tool or PLM tool might have different data than actually is used by the site. So things are out of sync. Maybe the engineers are changing the formulas, but they're not able to get them down to the site efficiently and effectively. There's a lot of moving parts there. So it is a real problem to get the right specifications down to the right place. It's really also the inability to scale because you don't have production flexibility, and really you have sites that are siloed. In other words, you may be making the same product at two different sites, but you make it differently because they're not communicating with each other. A lot of compliance risks, right? That of course you're going to run into quality issues if you don't get them in sync. And then increased inefficiencies, right? In execution of the product, where without having that accurate product data on the shop floor that comes down from the product lifecycle management tool, it's very difficult to be effective and efficient on the shop floor. And then it's just taking longer cycle times and changeovers. And we really don't know, the customer doesn't know why. And a lot of it can come down to the data not being in sync. Okay, so what have we done here? Well, there's 4 key themes to this product. One is about product master data orchestration. And this is about bringing in specification data, BOM data, all this information, and unifying it in from the product master data into the sites that are actually going to use it. Product data variance management, right? This is about helping you understand, hey, what are the differences between when we make it at this site versus this other site? Enterprise recipe management, centralizing the recipe definition and allowing you to have that single source of truth, if you will, for the recipe across your entire organization. And even for manufacturers that are outside your organization, perhaps you're doing co-manufacturing with a contractor. And then, of course, product data analytics, which is really important to understand what's really happening and how can I make it better, and really deep dive analytics. These are the things that are coming out this year. And it's really the first thing we're talking about is product master data orchestration. This is the first place we're starting. Now, when we presented this to customers, we actually had 3 customers stand up almost immediately and say, we need this, and we will help you, give you input to help you build it. And so here's what we've started with, and this is what will be coming out this year, is the connector service to connect to the PLM and down to the MES layer, product data orchestration component that we talked about in the previous slide, and then some product data variance management, the first cut at having those out-of-the-box analysis, allowing you to do that. So a lot of exciting things coming here. These are all new, and we're really excited about this product coming out into the market. So let's dive into the next topic. The next product, I should say, is Proficy MES, and this also is known as Proficy Plan Applications. So what are the things happening here? You can see the key themes. We're really trying to speed up your ability to go faster, not just on the initial install, but also on upgrades. And we're doing this through a number of tools and capabilities. So this low-code data flow engine that we talked about, that'll be available to the entire Proficy portfolio, is going to help you put your own logic into the system without having to write a lot of, expensive coding, REST APIs, and so forth. The other thing we're doing is containerization. If you haven't heard about this already, containerization and things like Kubernetes and Docker are really taking the IT industry by storm, because it allows you to upgrade and maintain much easier. It also allows you to scale and provide high availability out of the box. And that's one of the things that we're offering in Plan Applications now. And then in terms of user experience, a lot of great things happening here. So we're taking advantage of the device that we're using. So if you have an iPad or an Android tablet, which we now support, you'll be able to take images, take pictures using the camera on the device, videos too, and put them into the comments that are associated with various things throughout plan applications, like production events and user-defined events and variables and so forth. You can actually take comments and embed videos and pictures. The also what we're driving is this out of the pane, single glass, out of the box, single pane of glass, I should say, with more customization options. So what does this mean? This means that you can actually inject your own logic inside of the plan applications tool. So we provide out of the box screens, and we let you add additional logic into those screens. That could be user experience logic. So perhaps you want to add your own tab, for example, that is associated with an activity, perhaps, or with an operation or whatever it might be. You can add your own logic in addition. There are some buttons that you can click on the screen of the out of the box screens where you can inject your own logic to say whether you want this to continue. And that logic can talk to other systems, can do whatever you want. Once that logic is executed, it comes back to the logic that is built into the software. And we can make a decision whether you want to continue with that logic or you want to stop the operator from using that logic based on the return result from that other call. It's kind of hard to explain in this scenario, but it's very, very powerful because you don't have to write your own screens. You can use the screens that are out of the box. Lots of web UI improvements, including a genealogy app, which is getting stronger and stronger as we move forward. The new operator log app, this is pretty interesting. This is the ability to kind of have a news feed, if you will, for operators. And this can include things like incidents. So let's say, for example, somebody spilled something on the shop floor. You can create an incident to have it cleaned up, and you can assign it to a person, etc. So you can track information about things that just happen on your shop floor that don't necessarily have anything to do with a production event or something like that. And then we're doubling down on discrete, and I'll talk about that in more detail and what we're doing there. One thing before I get into some more detail on plan applications, I want to talk about this, go back to this rapid application development that we mentioned up front. With combining plant applications and Operations Hub allows you to do some very, very powerful things, including write your own screens without writing any code. So the benefit here is that all of the plant app screens that we ship with the product are actually plugins that run inside of Operations Hub. You can use these plugins to make your own screens. So if you look at the screen on the bottom, you'll see that there is a screen with a grid on the bottom of the image to the right. That could be the activities tool that we ship with plant applications, whereas the two bar charts on top could be your own data from some other place. It could be from a different system. It could be from plant applications, whatever it needs to be. You can do that, and you can build that without writing any code at all. And really, we write everything for the mobile client. It works great on desktops and laptops too, but we write it for a mobile client. So we have customers that are now using iPads on the shop floor, Android tablets, etc. And it's really made it easier for the operator to do their job. And it's also made it more conducive to the newer people that are coming onto the shop floor, the millennials and the Generation Zs, because they're used to having this kind of mobile capability. Okay, so let's drill down a little bit about what's going on with Proficy plan applications. Again, faster time solution. We're making upgrades easier. We're including the implementation speed. Again, talking about that data flow editor, it's a really powerful tool. It allows you to build flows with low code or no code. It depends on what you want to do, and you end up building a REST endpoint that you can then call inside of applications or as part of a model, etc. A lot of ERP integration happening, making it faster to talk to the ERP and integrate with it. There's about 20 messages that come with plan applications out of the box to do things like download orders, upload consumption, etc. All the things that you need to do to talk to your ERP and get it connected with the MES. We have a better user experience. I talked about this a little bit. We do have some out-of-the-box web UIs. We're improving things like persistence. So when you log into the system, you make some changes like to columns or headers or filters. We persist those. So when you come back, they're still persisted and you're right back where you started from. and we do that in between sessions. So it's makes it much easier for you to use the software and be comfortable with the way that you want to use it. We've also expanded the web UI utility. I talked about the operator log, which is kind of like a social news feed. And also there's an alarm view. So you can see all your alarms, which is better than the alarm view that we used to have in the client. And then they're starting to move things from the administrator into the web front end. And this is where we talked about that configuration management tool. This is called Configuration Hub. This is an integrated development environment. You might have heard that term called IDE before, and it's really designed for system integrators and administrators so that it's a single place they can go to manage all of Proficy, your SCADA, your historian, your planets, your operations hub, all in one place. And allows you, because of the IDE type structure, it allows you to do some things that make it a lot easier than it used to be to administer the Proficy tools. So you'll see as we get further into it that I think you're going to find it very, very exciting. So we're starting to do that in Plant Applications. We're not quite going to be ready in this release, but it's coming very soon afterwards with the full configuration. Talked about doubling down on discrete. So what we've done is we have actually worked with GE Aviation. They've signed on to work with us to build out discrete capabilities inside of Plant Applications. What does that mean? That means normally we're really good at batch and semi-continuous operations. We're very, very good at that. That's where we make 70% of our customers are about that. And in fact, Gartner, the analyst firm, has actually named us #1 in that category against 19 other vendors that they surveyed. In addition to that, we've now added discrete capabilities on top of the capabilities of continuous process. So what does this mean? This means that you can have both types of manufacturing in your organization and use one MES to do it. And it also lets you have genealogy all the way from a processed raw material all the way through a discrete, highly complex product that you might make. So there's a lot of extensions that we've done here, and including the ability to run very large lots, plus the complex flow of routes. Now you can have, if you're familiar with production plans and Plant Applications today, there's another kind of thing called a route, which is similar, but it's more for discrete. And these things can now have optional operations. You can have parallel operations. You have mutually exclusive operations in Plant Applications. And we're continuing to expand the scope of discrete, and we've added some more capability there. So one last thing I want to touch on for Plant Applications, we're offering something new called Proficy Smart Factory. Now you might think, what is this, a new product? It's actually not a new product. It's a combination of multiple products. So Plant Applications along with Historian, but we've running them on the cloud. Okay, what this does is it takes the proven Plant Applications MES solution between Proficy Plant Applications and Proficy Historian that you already know and run on your sites if you're using them, puts them in the cloud, and it offers this at a fixed price, right? So there's no mistaking how much it costs, no hidden fees, no charges like that. It's a very fast solution because we can stand it up really quickly, and it's very scalable. So you can bring in more assets over time. The idea here is to reduce your IT cost, right? So you don't have to pay for hardware or software. You don't have to pay that person that goes around and backs up the system and maintains the database and all that stuff. We do all that for you, and we monitor proactively. So no more concerns about upgrades and backups and that sort of thing. We have that covered for you as part of this tool. Let's get into Proficy Historian 2022. Let's talk about the next steps there. So what are the key themes? Enhanced system management connectivity, enhanced data value, and bridging the plant floor to the cloud. Again, we're making a lot of moves around the cloud here. So the Historian team has come the furthest along in using Configuration Hub, and they are releasing the system administration in this Configuration Hub tool. And keep in mind, Configuration Hub it's just a container, right? It's not really a tool that we would release by itself. It comes with all the products in Proficy, and it's basically a single place you can do administration. That's really what it is. Some people get confused about that. So Historian has done the most work here, and they'll be coming out with full administration in Config Hub. We're working on a federated asset model across the portfolio. Not quite done that, but we're working on that, and Historian's taking the first step towards that. And then we're expanding the ability to go on the cloud. So now you have the ability to run it on-prem, as you've always had. You can run it on the cloud, native format. And this is what we're using for our smart factory that I just talked about. And of course, you can run it hybrid. So you can have both situations where you have Historian on-premise and you can feed that data up to the cloud. And I'll talk about that in a second. So drilling in on more of these themes, we can handle 100 million tags. It's a very solid system, very scalable, and we are integrating security with all of the other products in something called UAA. UAA is Unified Authentication and Authorization, I believe, but it doesn't matter. The point is that there's one security system that we're going to use throughout Proficy, and Historian is taking advantage of it, as has Apps, as has other products. Extracting data from extracting value from the data is really important. Python has been added to the calculation engine. In addition to that, there's this great Delta query mode where you can ask for the changes between 2 points of a system. And then we've improved the performance of OLEDB significantly. Performance improvements continue in that we've multi-threaded the calculation collector. So now not only does it support Python, but it's actually multi-threaded. Of course, we had to start encryption, of course, because of the cloud capabilities that we've added. So that's included in Proficy Historian 2022. So getting back to the cloud concept and really what we're doing with the strategy here. So today, this is kind of what it looks like. We can take Proficy Historian, we can feed these tools, AWS IoT Core, Azure, Google, Ally Cloud, and we can feed all those through our collectors and our Historian. In 2022, you can still do that, but we've combined into Historian's now a native cloud service. It actually runs in the cloud by itself. Instead of a virtual machine, it's been moved up to a native cloud service. And then you can send that data again still to AWS, Azure, Google, etc. With very little problems. It's very easy to do. All right, let's talk about automation and visualization, the last topic here. So these are the key themes for our HMI SCADA products, as well as Operations Hub. Again, reducing time to solution. This is a core common key theme that we've seen in a number of products. We're trying to improve the ability to roll this out, but not just the initial install, of course, but again, the upgrade. Going along with that is reducing your total cost of ownership for large deployments. This is exciting stuff because you now have the ability to manage multiple servers, multi-plant deployments in one place. Enabling IoT, this is Operations Hub. We've talked a lot about Operations Hub, but we do want to touch on it here again because it's a really important part of our portfolio. Everything in Proficy is going to use Operations Hub as the container for the various screens that you can build yourself through Operations Hub, or the out-of-the-box screens that come with products like Historian and Plant Apps, etc. And it all comes down to empowering the connected worker, really giving that connected worker at their workstation the ability to make decisions on their own, because they have the most knowledge, they have the most current knowledge, and they have the most skill on the shop floor. They know a lot about what they do. So let's give them the power to do what they need to do. So if we look at kind of what we're doing in the big picture, again, from these big themes, number one ask from customers has been Python scripting. So we've added that to the tool. We've enhanced the modeling for equipment and simplified browsing of PLCs and control systems, reducing time for updates, again, making upgrades easier and faster, reducing total cost of ownership. And one thing we've done that's a big change is unlimited client offering. So it's more economical. It's a bundle for small and mid-sized market. Reduced hardware costs through cloud infrastructure. Again, we're working to let you run all of our tools on the cloud. And this is an example of that. Centralized operations. Again, we talked about that. That's very powerful. And in order to, if you have a lot of nodes on your network, this is going to make it much easier to manage those nodes. And then finally, again, going back to empowering that connected worker, really important aspect of what we do. And the idea is to bring the decision-making down as far as it makes sense. And in this case, we're going all the way to the operator level. So a lot of new experiences here, including Proficy Batch app, which has been completely refaced, and it now runs inside of Operations Hub. So a lot of improvements in alarm management, etc. So with that, that is the end of the strategy and roadmap overview. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy your Aquarius concert. Okay. Sorry, conference. Thank you.